We welcome you to our meaningful meditation for the second Sunday of March, March 9th. Also happens to be the first Sunday of Lent. And for our Lenten journey, which began on Wednesday with Ash Wednesday, we are doing a series called Everything in Between, thinking about the extremes that we live in and how polarizing that can be, and how Jesus teaches us that there is a way forward when we may feel like we are kind of out of the mainstream of life as a person of faith. And during this whole season of Lent, we'll be looking at different stories from the Gospel of Luke. And this Sunday, perhaps a familiar story to you. It's talked about in our secular culture, and that is the story of the Good Samaritan. And it's really a question of who is our neighbor and how we put people on extremes. This is our friendly neighbor, and then we have a stranger over here, and how this gospel story is one that is there to help us understand that we are all neighbors, and how important it is to think about the compassion that we need to have for one another through this life. And when we think about who is our neighbor, how well and how much energy do we really put into getting to know people who are different from us, perhaps different backgrounds and different opinions. And Jesus is one who wants to bridge that gap and help us to live there in the middle, and to think about how shocking a story like this would have been, especially in Jesus' time, to think about a Samaritan helping somebody who had very different ideas from them, was thought not to be clean, and the priest and the Levite in the story kind of walk on by, and maybe they do that because they're fearful of what would happen if they help this weary traveler that's there in the ditch. And then the Samaritan thinks about what will happen to this weary traveler if I don't help them. And that's really the kind of mindset that as Christians we're called to have, is what can we do to help others, and especially in this time of Lent, to be thinking about our actions and how we can best be present to people. So we'll be thinking about that. We will also have a special time after the service for our Enliven class, which is our adult education. And because back in February we had a snowstorm on the Sunday that my husband and Bruce and I were going to share about our mission experience in the Yucatan Peninsula. So we will be doing that this Sunday with pictures and music, and we hope that you'll stay around and have some coffee. Our coffee fellowship this week will be hosted by our young adult group, and so we are excited to share our story with you. Some things to remind you for Lent: we do have these devotionals available. If you've not yet picked up one, you can do that this Sunday, and we also have prayer cards for each day of Lent, which has some reflective questions to think about and a prayer to offer up. So those are some tools for you. We also have a new class that's starting for adults next Wednesday on March 12th. From 6:30 to 7:30, and that happens over in Lawn Ridge Hall. And I'll be facilitating a class thinking about the four Gospels and how each of them shares the story of the Passion of Christ. So as we take this journey to the cross, thinking about Good Friday, I hope that you will be especially intentional about challenging yourself to take some really focused time to think about what this Lenten season means to you as we draw close to the cross and then to the empty tomb. So blessings and peace for your Lenten journey, and we'll hope to see you this Sunday at 10 o'clock, fully charged up for a day of worship together. So peace to you. Amen.